Hi guys, it's Freddy here with Retro RPG, back on the desktop once again. Now, I have to say that last week I really enjoyed doing catch-up week, doing one video every day. And when I came to the end of it, I thought, fantastic, I must do that again sometime. Halloween's coming up fairly soon. I will do horror role-playing games for Halloween week. And then I realised we're only a week away from Halloween. So here I am, doing one video a week for Horror Week of Retro RPG. Now, first up, I would like to present this. It's the granddaddy of horror RPGs, Call of Cthulhu. This version in particular is the 3rd edition from 1986 and published, at least in the UK, by Games Workshop, who you know these days for Warhammer and Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar and all that. But back in the day, they used to ship all the RPGs into the UK, and they would republish them. So you got compilations, and this is what kind of this one is. It's a compilation of a bunch of Call of Cthulhu source books to create a solid 3rd edition rulebook. Or at least that's my opinion. Contents: Investigator's Book, Keeper's Book, Source Book for the 1920s, Cthulhu Companion, and some colour plates. So let's start off with what is Call of Cthulhu. Let's read the back of the book. Enter the awesome universe of the Cthulhu mythos. Those dread tales in which magic, science, arcane lore, and fetid horror irrevocably sear the lives of those who the bizarre and curious have unseemingly attraction. A universe where the veneer of normalcy is ever threatened by the plots and manifestations of the unutterably evil old ones whose minions strive for the return and rule of their mighty and foul lord, the great Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is a sophisticated open-format game without conventional board or playing pieces. The action and events take place in the imaginations of the players and game master. So, Call of Cthulhu is role-playing set in the 1920s in the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. The best way to describe them is unspeakable horrors are trying to destroy the Earth, and brave investigators are trying to stop it, but will lose their minds in the meantime. That's what Call of Cthulhu is all about. It's not whether you can save the day, it's whether you can keep your sanity while saving the day. I've run Call of Cthulhu a whole 1 time, and out of the party of 6, after 2 sessions, there were 2 survivors, one of which was completely lost their sanity and spent the rest of their lives locked up, and the other one, well, it was actually a guest at our game table and would never play again anyway. So that was the end of Call of Cthulhu for me. This book, it combines lots of things. We've got the colour plates, first of all, some of which aren't that suited to Call of Cthulhu, I have to say. Where was that one? It's very evocative of the 1920s period, but I don't feel that really communicates Call of Cthulhu for you. And there's a big demonic one here. That really doesn't sell anything about the Cthulhu mythos to me. But we have some fantastic pictures later on. That is cool. Ghoul returning from the underground, seeking flesh. What else do we have here? Come on, where's colour plates? Love the detail of the face, but it's a bit vampire. I don't feel that's too Cthulhu mythos. But that is a crazed scientist creepily putting on rubber gloves, or taking them off since they seem to be dripping with blood. We've seen that one. I've kind of gone through the colour plates. The game system is pretty much the same. It's a percentile-based system. We've got lots of information about the great old ones, including, of course, how much sanity loss you get for seeing them. Lots and lots of creatures with a very decent write-up of them. Not all of these creatures are evil. The Migo, for example, are just an alien species going about what they do. They're trying to fight off the Elder Gods as well. It's just that they don't care about humans. We're so far beneath them. Magic and spells for mainly summoning things, how to play the game. Some information about various bits. And then ready to play scenarios. We've got some adventures in the book. Lots of information about the 1920s, sample distances and travelling time, prices at the time, really setting up the things you wouldn't necessarily know. You can look up on the internet now, but this is from 1986, so you wouldn't have necessarily had easy access to what the price of a meal or whatever would be. And then we get to the back, and there's more adventures. Mystery of Loch Fyne, which is always fun to read as a Scotsman. The Rescue. There's lots and lots of adventures in here, lots of ideas to get you started. Lots of words you should be using because the way Lovecraft wrote. Iridescent. We should use more of these words, they're fantastic. Prodigious. Lovecraft loved his long words. And peppering his writing with them. But that's the 3rd edition of Call of Cthulhu. But I'd also like to present this. Let's get the old one out of the way. And this is the 20th anniversary edition, which came out in 2001. Bound in some kind of leather. It's a nice thick volume, and basically it's just an updated version. We're rapidly heading towards the 40th anniversary, so there'll probably be a new one out then, because Call of Cthulhu is very happily still going. You've got some adventures in here. I'm not as keen on this one as the Games Workshop version. It looks a lot nicer. I just don't feel it's as easy to use. It's a much heavier book. Nice bookmark in there, always appreciated. There's lots far better artwork in here. There is some adventures, but I just don't feel it's as easy to use. But that is Call of Cthulhu. I'm loath to call it a retro RPG because, as I said, it's still going. I'm a member of their sort of test team, although they've never run anything in Scotland for me to attend. And that's it. These ones are retro because they are the older versions, 1986 and 2001. So even my newer one's almost 20 years old now. Check it out. This is really good horror. This is your people going out and going insane type of stuff. Unspeakable monsters that man should not mess with. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye now.